Welcome, Capricorn, to your in-depth weekly horoscope for week commencing the 1st of January for the Sun or the Ascendant. Now, ordinarily, at this time of year, you really can gain traction and push forwards in a very dynamic way because the Sun is in your sign, and for the last 15 years, you've also had Pluto in the mix as well. Now, those two are going to come into a conjunction on the 20th of January, and that will give you a big idea of where you've really progressed over a long period of time. That's going to be a high point in the journey. But this week also sees a big asset when on Thursday Mars makes its way into your sign for a 6-week stay through to the middle of February. But Mars has been going through a transition through your 12th house, which is really awkward. If you have been suffering some big shifts in moods, sometimes feeling very weepy, at other times feeling very irritable, even angry, it's because Mars has been stirring up you at a more subconscious level. But also, you've had a group of influences, especially since the 29th of December, in your 12th house. So along with Mars, you've also had Mercury since the 23rd in a retrograde, and since the 29th, Venus. And 12th house energy generally is where we retreat, it's where we rest, we recuperate. It can be where we become more conscious of our fears and anxieties, or perhaps we become more conscious of the people who don't have our interests at heart. And all of that may have been washing around between Christmas and the New Year. And because your ruler, Saturn, applies to Venus right at the start of this year, any relationship throughout the year 2024 has to be strong on the trust, or it could be something that you have self-doubts around. Mercury retrograde in your 12th house can also see those more anxious thoughts darting around your mind. But on Tuesday, Mercury goes direct. But Venus is challenged by Saturn and also initially by the Moon on the first day of this year. That's going to peter out as this week goes on, which is a good news story, with Mercury going direct on Tuesday. If there is someone you haven't heard from and you've been wondering why that was, you could hear from them from that point. But the quarter moon on Wednesday accentuates your professional situation. Because the moon's in your 10th house, however you're feeling, good or bad, it's going to be much more difficult to disguise it. And if you are feeling a little bit more vulnerable, that can be a bit awkward, of course. But Thursday really is the game changer of this week's story, Capricorn, because on that day, Mars bursts into your sign. Mars loves being in Capricorn. It's going to be with you through to the 13th of February, but it instantly forges a brilliant link with Jupiter, the planet of hope. Now, Jupiter was tracking backwards for the last 4 months of last year. It went retrograde at the end of June, and it ended the retrograde on the 31st of December. So it's now direct, picks up with Mars, one of the most dynamic planetary angles in astrology. Mars is about action, but also in our own sign, it's about initiation, getting things off the ground. You can move. It's really going to be interesting. You'll see the transition from being more sensitive and unsure about things. You'll move into the moment. You'll feel more revitalized. If there are some things that you've been thinking about doing, you can now start to action them. Because Jupiter's in the part of your scope to do with showcasing your talent and your skills and your joys, the combination really pushes you to go for it. They're also forging a very good link with your stern ruler of Saturn. And by this point in the week, Saturn's influence in a negative way on Venus is declining. But I feel because of that third 12th house energy that is going on for you, Neptune in the third, Saturn in the third, how you think, your everyday communications. The 12th house can be the people that maybe we don't quite mesh with, maybe people who've drifted away from us, people that we're not quite sure of what their motivations are. A little bit of insecurity could wash around, even if you're very, very self-confident. But I think from Thursday, you really do get your game going. And by the weekend, the Sun starts to angle up with Uranus, like Jupiter in your 5th house. That's going to come into an exact trine on the 10th of January, which is going to be a wonderful opportunity to think afresh or revitalise ongoing strands that are important to you with more with some fresh approaches and more enthusiasm. But you really can see that this week is going to be a game of the proverbial two halves. And Thursday's the swing point when you get back into some kind of form. But earlier in the week, if you do feel rather tender, unsure about how people feel, or a little bit below power, this is why, but it will start to fall into place from Thursday onwards. If you've yet to watch your year 2024 deep dive video, please see the link beneath this video. Also, if you've yet to order your personal forecast for year 2024 based on your unique birth data, if you order my special package and get your character analysis as well, you'll get 30% off, but also you get your free Zodiac, Indian and Chinese forecast for all 12 signs absolutely free of charge. Please see the link beneath this video.